What's going on, guys? CTG Matt back. You read the title. Today we are predicting the NFL playoffs. I have this predict playoff games type bracket thing here, and it's pretty cool. And yeah, I wanted to turn on the camera and do some predictions for y'all. I know I don't really cover football on this channel too much, but trust me, I watch a lot of football. Plus, I'm also a shaman, for those that don't know. I know everything in the universe. So if I predict your team to win the Super Bowl, guess what? You might as well place your bet now and start celebrating. I have a 100% success rate. I don't know at what, but at something. If you enjoy, make sure to like, comment, share, sub. We're getting started right now. We're going to start predicting the wild card round. As you can tell, I have my Bucks gear on, the Super Bowl patch on it. You know what I mean? Eagles fans, I might pick against you because I hate the Eagles. But we are starting off in the AFC. I'm going to talk about Denver versus Buffalo. I think it's pretty clear we're going to go with Buffalo. While I really like the run Denver is going on, I did not expect Bo Nix to be this good. Bo Nix went from Mo Picks to really good Bo Nix, right? And I like Nick Benito. I like what their defense has cooking. They took, what's that guy with the 3 names that plays cornerback for them? He's been really good, right? PJ Locke. They have a bunch of guys that are just pretty good. But I still see Bo Nix as a rookie quarterback who makes a ton of mistakes. You saw that not last week, but the week before. And on top of that, Buffalo's just really good. They're the 2 seed for a reason. They have the guy who, in my opinion, should probably finish second in MVP in Josh Allen. I probably ruffled some feathers saying number 2 in MVP. I get it, Buffalo fans. And if I'm being honest, I kind of want Josh Allen to win MVP because it takes all the pressure off Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. You know what I mean. But I still like Josh Allen a ton. I've never been a big Josh Allen believer. For a while, I was actually a Josh Allen hater. But I feel like everything's kind of shifted recently, and part of that is my attitude toward Josh Allen. I'm also a big fan of James Cook. He did a high school appearance near me, in my area, and ever since then I've been rooting for James Cook. He also tied, or maybe set, I don't know if he broke or tied the Bills' single-season rushing touchdown record. Great for him. He's had back-to-back seasons of like 15 or more touchdowns. Really impressive. I've been really impressed by what the Bills have done this season in general. I just think they have the advantage with, rookie quarterback on the other side. The Bills have been here before, so I'm going with the experience. Plus, Sean McDermott is just really funny. All right, I don't want to get into the whole, Middle East thing, but that is objectively hilarious. I'm sorry, it kills me every time I read that story. We're going to move on to Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. Now, in his career, Lamar has struggled against Pittsburgh. That is well documented. He got a win last time, though. But in his career, his touchdown interception ratio and his rushing stats are a little bad against Pittsburgh. Let me be frank. I'm going to be honest. They've struggled against the Steelers. However, over recent weeks, Pittsburgh has not been, per se, very good. Pull open their schedule just so that way I can illustrate what I'm talking about. But if you could see, they lose to the Bengals, they lose to the Chiefs, they lose to the Ravens, they lose to the Eagles. They've lost 4 straight riding into the playoffs. That doesn't build any confidence in me to pick them. And on top of that, their offense looks rather inept right now. Najee Harris isn't special. Sorry, somebody's going to dislike that. Sorry, Najee Harris is not special. Russell Wilson, aging, kind of bad quarterback, not going to lie. Nothing special to write home about with Russ. I mean, look at the points scored during this 4-game losing streak. 17, 10, 17, 13. Why are we relying on Chris Boswell to win games? I like Chris Boswell. Not enough to win me freaking 4 games in a row because your offense can't score touchdowns, right? So, I don't know. It doesn't build any type of confidence in me that the Steelers will win this game. Simply because of how bad they've been recently. And I feel like Lamar exercised his demons in this specific game, the 34-17 thumping. So once you cross in, I don't know how to phrase this, but it's true in the NBA, it's also true in the NFL, that once you exercise your demons, it helps you kind of win the championship, to be honest. You have to go through players that you've maybe lost to before, or teams that you've historically struggled against before you can win a Super Bowl. The way that I've thought about it is like, more specifically in basketball, because I'm a basketball guy, but like you'll see the Celtics won their first championship in how long, and they had to go through Miami to to get there, which has been historically one of their bigger problems in the modern era, right? So you have to exercise your demons and get through the tough teams that you've historically struggled against before you can win. I feel like Lamar has done that. I feel like Lamar's taking a step, and on top of that, man, King Henry is just really good. You know, I also, that's another guy that I was like, he's good, but as he gets older, the only thing I can really do is sit back and just cherish what we have. This guy was really close to the rushing lead this season, and he's like 31, and he's in a new situation, his first year there, and he has a quarterback who also runs the football, so it's not like he's getting carries like he was in Tennessee. So all around, it's just a really good team. I have the Ravens. I don't know how good the Ravens defense is. It's not, per se, the best, but I think they can get the job done against a really weak Steelers offense. Especially since I'm pretty sure George Pickens got blanked last week. Like 0 catches, 0 yards. What? You know, that's despicable shit. I'm not the biggest George Pickens fan of all time, don't get me wrong. But I think he's good enough to at least get 1 yard. Come on now. Here's a tough one to predict. Chargers versus Texans, right? Why is it so hard to predict? Because simply put, they're both just kind of decent, but not special teams. You know, special teams, ha. But I really like what C.J. Stroud's done, even though it hasn't been as good as year one. You know, obviously it's not as good as year one, and people always point to that and say, well, he's regressed. You know, back in my day, we called that a sophomore slump. You know, but he's still having a pretty decent enough season. Joe Mixon can carry the ball well. It's tough because I look at the Chargers and I think to myself, I don't think they have Dobbins yet back. And on top of that, they have like one receiver. Quentin Johnston made a really nice catch last week, but Quentin Johnston overall is not a game changer, a game wrecker. He's all right. He's inconsistent. He has drop issues. We know that. And on top of that, their only other receiver is Ladd. Like, they have one weapon. And then I look at the Texans side. But then I look at the Texans side and I see, obviously, Tank Dell's done. Stephon Diggs is done. They're beat up. Their O-line is bad. The Chargers have a good D-line. But also, the Texans have a really respectable D-line. And on top, Derek Stingley is must-watch TV at cornerback. He makes some plays that just jaw-dropping, right? And then you look at the Chargers side. They got guys... Derwin James. I know Derwin James ain't the same, but he's still good. Khalil Mack is there. You know, they have... This is just so even, it feels like. And this is going to be hilarious in a week when, you know, one team gets routed 45-0. But as for right now, on paper, these teams look damn near even. You have a very good, you know, an up-and-coming quarterback, Herbert versus Stroud. Two teams with good D-lines. You think Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter in Houston. And then you think with the Chargers, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. And it's so even. But I think I'm going to go Houston. You only pick top seeds. I know. And one of them's going to lose. If any of them are going to lose, I'd probably... I don't know who. I hope to God Lamar doesn't lose that game. If the Ravens lose that game... I'm not even a Ravens fan, but I might lose my mind. There's got to be like some injury or something if they lose, because if they just lose off the muscle, I don't know, bro. I might throw myself off a bridge. I'm a big Lamar fan. Eagles, Packers. We're bouncing over to NFC now, by the way. Eagles versus Packers. You know, the Packers struggled in division this season. The Eagles have just been dominant on the ground. But I look at the Packers and I see like, well, they got Kenny Clark, who's really good. They got a good little D-line over there. The Eagles have a very, very good D-line over there. Thinking of Jalen Carter, who is just unblockable, it seems like. And then they also have a really good receiver core, even though Jalen Hurts can't throw. And someone's going to dislike that. I don't care. Jalen Hurts is not a special quarterback. But obviously, the big entertainer for the Eagles is Saquon Barkley and his magic. You know, he's a rabbit out of his ass type of guy. You know, so this is actually tougher. And I'm going to pick the Eagles simply because the Packers have struggled in division. Also, I'm pretty sure Jordan Love's hurt, isn't he? I'll go check the injury report. I'm going to Google it right now. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know what the extent of Jordan Love's injury was. I'm pretty sure he got hurt in that game. Against the Bears, I'll say. Yeah. Well, Christian Watson I knew was done. Christian Watson, I didn't think was the differentiator, But PackersNews.com 1 day ago says Jordan Love should be good to go for Packers playoffs. Less optimistic for Christian. Yeah, Christian Watson's done. We got that report this morning. But Jordan Love's coming in a little hobbled maybe. And the Eagles are just so dominant. You know, they control the pace on offense because they have a running back who can get 5 a pop and just walk your ass down the field. And then they have receivers that can make big plays for Jalen Hurts underthrown balls. Dominant O-line, good tight end. The Eagles don't have any holes in their roster is kind of what I'm saying. So that's why I'm picking them over the Packers, who had a really good season. And their division is the best maybe of all time right now. So I salute to them. But I really see the Eagles as just in another echelon, another tier. You know what I mean? As we bounce to Bucs versus Washington. Okay, you're asking the guy with a Bucs helmet right there. Hold on. Let me get it. Right there. Right there. And then a Bucs logo right here. And yeah, you're asking him what the score or what the prediction's going to be. But all things considered, I see this as a win-win for Tampa, right? If they get embarrassed at home by Washington, there's a really good chance Todd Bowles isn't my coach going into next season. Now, people don't know my hatred for Todd Bowles because I haven't talked about football much on this channel. I hate him worse than you could hate anybody in life. You could have an abusive girlfriend, an abusive boyfriend. I promise you I hate Todd Bowles more than them. I feel the same way about Todd Bowles that Dwight Howard feels about Shaq. You know what I mean? I want to fight him. All right? I can't stand him. But we did beat Washington week 1. Does that matter? Not really. Jaden Daniels is not the same quarterback as week 1. Fun fact. You go through 17 more weeks of grueling schedule and facing way better teams. Eventually you get a little bit better, ideally. Now, do I think the Bucs can still win this game? I have no idea. This one's a toss-up. This one's a big 50-50 ball right here. Not going to lie to you. And the 50-50 ball is going to go to Washington. Yeah, I think I'm going to pick Washington. Why? Reverse psychology, my friend. No, I think it's also because the Bucs play scary football. They play really good in first quarters. They dominate first quarters. And then in the second quarter, they forget how to play football. They go into stretches where they look inept, stupid at times. I love Liam Cohen and what he's done with the team, but he gets very pass heavy after like the first drive, and he forgets we have Bucky motherfucking Irving on the team. He forgets we even have Rachaad White and Sean Tucker, who are good running backs as well. I'm going to have to go with Washington. I think Terry McLaurin is going to tear the Bucs secondary apart, even though they're potentially, well, they are without Antoine Winfield, and I think without Jamel Dean as well. They will get ripped and torn to shreds. I love what the Bucs have done this year in some aspects. They drafted well, Tyke Smith, Christian Izien. I know Christian Izien wasn't a draft pick this year. And then like the last few years, Kalijah Kancey, stuff like that. But I'm going to have to give the edge to Washington. I just think Terry McLaurin versus a torn-up Bucs secondary. Terry McLaurin's going to be seeing, like, Kyrie Funderburk on him, maybe. I don't like that, like, at all. Or what was the other guy's name that was playing last week? Hold on. Josh Hayes. Josh Hayes had 10 tackles last week. That sounds really good at surface level, right? He's a cornerback, and he had 10 tackles. What does that mean to you exactly? Because I know what it means to me. If you can piece 2 and 2 together, you would figure out that means he's allowing completions and then getting the tackle after, which is damn near valueless. Valueless? Yeah, something like that. Vikings versus Rams. I'm picking the Rams. Sam Darnold maybe put on the worst stinker I've ever seen. He looked like primetime Kirk Cousins in that last game. Every time he left the pocket, it was like embarrassingly disgusting. If he could sit in the pocket and get comfortable, he looked all right. But the moment he got flushed out, straight up deer in headlights. The Vikings are they had the better record, obviously. But I'm taking the Rams, man. Sam Darnold did not look like the same quarterback we watched for 16, 17 weeks last week. And maybe that's because the Lions are freaking decimated by injuries. I don't know. I don't feel positive about Sam Darnold in a playoff game is basically what I'm trying to drill into you. He's had a really good season, but I don't know how far that season's going to go. On top of that, their coach is one of the best in football. You know what I mean? I see, like, Josh Dobbs striving with them for a couple of weeks last year, and it's just wild, right? I think they just have great coaching. I don't think Sam Darnold's really good. You give Sam Darnold Victor Wembanyama to throw the ball to, and he might put up 7,000 yards in a season. That's a joke about Sam Darnold always overthrowing receivers, because that was a consistent theme last week. Moving on, I know Vikings fans might be mad. I don't trust your quarterback. I think that's good reason enough. He was bad for every season of his career besides this one. Sorry for not believing in just this flip. Chiefs-Texans, the league won't allow the Texans to go any further. It's over. The league will not allow this, okay? The Chiefs will win this game. It will be some BS. It'll be like Chiefs up 1, Texans get into field goal range to take the lead, and it's a bad snap that hits the kicker in the forehead and bounces into Derek Notty's lap or something. It's always stupid how they win games, but they win games, so we take the Chiefs. Next, Ravens-Bills, the battle of the MVPs, you know, the MVP candidates. I'm going to have to, dude, do I go with Lamar? I love Lamar, man, but I don't know. I'm going to have to take, these two teams are both pretty bad against the pass. Against the run, I think it's almost even, I think, right? So, I don't know. I'm looking at defensive rankings right now, trying to make sure I have my facts straight. I don't really feel confident either way in this pick. Again, I'm going to pick the Ravens because I love Lamar Jackson, but realistically, if the Bills win, this should not surprise anybody. Lions versus Detroit, or Lions versus Washington, this should surprise nobody. The Lions are by far the best team in the NFC this season. It's close with the Eagles, kind of, but just the amount of people that they've had to use and cycle in and bring in a new guy because everyone's getting hurt. And the fact that they still are just dominant week after week after week after week. And Monty's getting healthy. Jahmyr Gibbs is playing his best football. Amon-Ra is still there. Jameson Williams is playing his best football. Sam Laporta is playing his best ball. Jared Goff's balling. I am a big Lions hater, but I can still acknowledge that Dan Campbell is one of the best coaches in the NFL. And Ben Johnson can draw up some fun little plays. And I just think Washington's good, but not that good. You know, it's tiers. It really is tiers to this shit, and the Lions are on a different tier. Eagles-Rams is definitely a little bit more interesting. Obviously, the Eagles are the best defense in the NFL, and they can run the ball really well. The Rams are 22nd against the run, and the Eagles like to run. Gonna have to go with the Eagles. I'm picking a lot of top seeds. I know I am, but what do you want me to do? What do you really want me to do? Right, when the matchups are Eagles versus Rams. If you're picking the Rams, you might be a Rams fan. You know, they had a weak division, the Rams did, so that definitely helps. Chiefs versus Ravens. Give me the Ravens. I know. Now, the Chiefs are one of the better run defenses in the NFL, I believe, but as are the Ravens, so that helps, you know. And on top of that, I think Lamar has got it this year, right? This year's the year for Lamar Jackson. Right, guys? It's not gonna happen now. Lions, Eagles, 1 versus 2. It's boring, but the NFC is top heavy, in my opinion. You have like 3 to 4 really good teams, and then it's just, you know what I mean? Eagles versus Lions. I'm taking the Eagles, man. It's a 2 versus 3 seed in the Super Bowl. Why am I taking the Eagles over the Lions? One really good answer. If you could stop the run and shut down the run against the Lions, which the Eagles can, you're forcing Jared Goff into being a playmaker, into being their guy. And while he's had a decent season, I still don't think Jared Goff is that good of a quarterback. And there's going to be some people that might not like that. And I'm okay with that, because I fully acknowledge that he can have a good season, but still not be that guy at the end of the day. And when the pressure's all on Jared Goff to be that guy, if they can stop Gibbs and Monty, which they can, the Eagles have a very strong run defense, right? If they could stop Monty and Gibbs, you're putting a lot of pressure on Jared Goff to be perfect. And I'm telling you right now, Jared Goff isn't perfect. He never really is. You know, he's the king of dominating and blowouts. He's the god of we're up 30, I'm throwing another touchdown, right? I'm not a big Jared Goff guy. The Battle of the Birds in the Super Bowl. Hurts, Jackson, Zay Flowers, A.J. Brown, Henry versus Saquon. Henry versus Saquon, that is cinema in your living room. Who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick the Eagles. I hate it. I hate the Eagles. How did we get this Super Bowl patch that I have on my fancy jacket today? It's because we went into the link and we kicked the Eagles' ass, and then they retired the link, I believe, right? So, I hate the Eagles. But the one thing I have to acknowledge is the fact that they're one of the best defenses in the NFL. They are deep at, like, every position. The only thing that's really not strong with the Eagles is the linebacker. But even then, they get the job done. You know, this team was just so dominant throughout the season. Saquon Barkley is just that good. You know, I think they just have so many playmakers. And while I know playmakers is a term we mostly reserve for, like, sick wide receivers and running backs, Jalen Hurts is a playmaker, and their O-line is a bunch of playmakers. All right? These guys can block any D-line in the NFL. It's a strong group. You know, I love Mekhi Becton. He was my draft crush a few years ago. So, I hope he gets a ring. That'd be nice. If not, obviously we're rooting for the Bucs. If they were to lose, so be it. Eagles fans, congratulations. You've won the Super Bowl because I'm a shaman. I've already said I'm a Charmin shaman, right? And, you know, I'm a prophet. I know everything before it happens. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, share, sub. Definitely sub. You don't even need to like the video. Just subscribe, bro. It'd be really nice. I'm going to catch the game. See you guys in the next one.